Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Last Word Sports. I wanted to kind of hop on this train and start talking about a quarterback I have been watching this year pretty intently, not going to lie. And that's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had himself a day Sunday. It was one of the best performances I've seen by a quarterback this year. Not saying he's the top quarterback or even top 3, 5, 10, I think it's still too soon to say that. But this was an incredible game. And maybe not incredible game, but you saw him win this game. A lot of people are saying that the Ravens defense lost it and they fell apart and Lamar didn't play well. And when you watch the game, when you actually watch the game, you don't see that. For Trevor Lawrence in the past, from games the games I watched of him, I watched every game, and a lot of his success in the past that kind of made me unsure is a lot of his throws would be to kind of wide open guys. In his best games, the guys were just really open, and it kind of had me thinking, like, when is he going to have a game where he makes big boy throws? Because you'd see him make one or two in a game maybe, but you wouldn't see him make like several on one drive. Well, he did that this week. There were 2 drives where he made big boy throws on on almost every single pass on those drives. And when I say big boy throws, I mean, 1, it's a difficult throw even without coverage, and 2, there is good coverage and requires a near perfect throw. And there was a lot of throws like that. I challenge you, if you don't believe me, go back and watch the highlights, passes from him in that game. He played phenomenal. And this is something we're tossed about, where we jump on these bandwagons. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I made a video about Justin Fields, and I still really like Justin Fields. And I said I would take him over Trevor Lawrence right now, but I said it's close. I said Trevor Lawrence wins from the pocket right now, way better than Justin Fields. Justin Fields just has that athleticism with his legs. And the reason why I said that was because Trevor Lawrence was severely lacking in consistency. He'd have a good game or two, and then he'd have a bad game or two, and then another good game or two, and another bad game or two. And I was looking for consistency. Well, the past 2 weeks, he played pretty good, and he had the Broncos game before that, which was terrible, and before that he had some solid games. But this was the game that we had never seen from Trevor Lawrence. A lot of people are saying it, and they're right. We had never seen this from Trevor Lawrence. We were waiting for that 300 multiple touchdown game where he put the team on his back and said, I am going to win this game for us. And this was that game. Now, as we watch it, the offensive line played really well for the Jaguars. The receivers played pretty decent. Not a lot of contribution from Christian Kirk, but Trevor Lawrence, I like Nick Wright's name for him, the prince that was promised. He delivered in this game. I mean, he was phenomenal. Now he's stacked up several good games. And let me ask you this. Where does he rank in the NFL right now? Top 15, definitely, in my opinion. I think he's probably in that 12-13 range right now. But how many quarterbacks would you take over him? Granted, I still want to see consistency. I need him. He's going to play the Lions this week. That's a bad defense. You want to be considered a top quarterback, you got to play well against the bad and the good defenses. And so this is an opportunity to really keep your name staked as a top 10 quarterback in the league. Go out there, dominate, carry this team for a win, and continue to do so. The Jaguars aren't technically eliminated from the playoffs. I'm really not saying that they will make it. I don't think they will. Still think Tennessee wins that division. But this is super encouraging from Trevor Lawrence. I was worried that maybe his success was just because of Doug Peterson and how great that scheme is and getting guys open. But this was the game where it seemed like Trevor Lawrence knew where he was going. He was super confident with throwing the ball. There was no hesitancy. He knew where he was going, and he delivered absolute dimes, and it was super impressive. And what does this mean for the future of the Jaguars? It's incredible. I mean, you look at next year, they're adding Calvin Ridley. I don't know what kind of position he'll be in. If he is close to what he was with the Falcons, that is tremendous upside for the Jaguars because they'll have an actual number one receiver with what they have right now, which honestly, Zay Jones and Christian Kirk have been overperforming so far this year. And with Calvin Ridley in the mix, it's going to be a phenomenal offense to watch. And they have Travis Etienne as well. And they have a really good offensive line. I think they allowed 1 sack against the Ravens, but besides that, there was no pressures and no other sacks. So it all looks good for that offense. And I think I'm just really excited to see this. You see the division around them. The Texans are nothing right now. They're rebuilding. It's going to take 2 years until they're competitive. Well, I don't want to say competitive. They've been competitive in games, except for maybe like 2 or 3. But until they can actually contend for the division, it's going to be about 2 years at least. Tennessee is already winning the division. I get that. But let me ask you this: Is Tennessee on the incline or decline? And even if you're like not sure, are they stagnant? And is that point that they're stagnant on, is that above where the Jaguars are heading? Because I don't think so. When you look at the Colts, I don't know what the Colts are doing. They don't know what they're doing. They have pieces, but they're lacking at offensive line. And they're lacking at quarterback. So when you look at what Jacksonville has, there's a lot of upside. There is a lot of potential. But this was me just kind of reaching out saying, have a day, Trevor Lawrence. What a game. He played so well. I really, if you're one of the people who you don't buy into the hype after a game of one of these quarterbacks and you're like, I don't believe it, they're just loving on their number one pick, they're not giving Justin Fields his dues or all that jazz, watch his highlights. It was not just don't just watch the highlights. Actually, go back, watch the game. I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there with all the passes by him. Watch it. You'll see a lot. I believe there was one throw that, in my opinion, he would like to have back. But besides that, he played a phenomenal game. And he's throwing to Zay Jones and Christian Kirk. Like, come on. I have not seen a game like this from anyone from that QB class, including Mac Jones. Mac Jones plays smart football, but he doesn't carry that team. He's never, even last year, there was not a game where he put the team on his back and was played this good. Justin Fields has carried his team, but he's never won from the pocket like this. There were throws that Trevor Lawrence made I've never seen Justin Fields make in a Bears uniform. Trey Lance, we don't know. Zach Wilson, that's a whole other can of worms. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, congrats. I hope he's arrived. Is this the point that we look at in his career next year, 4 years down the road, when he's a Pro Bowler, All-Pro quarterback, is this the game when we look back and say, that's when Trevor Lawrence became him? I don't know. I need to see it stacked up throughout the rest of the season. In order for me to say Trevor Lawrence will be a top 10, top 5 quarterback next year, I need him to do this a couple more times before the season ends. I need to see this isn't just a fluke where he was just on point with his accuracy and reads. I need to know he is preparing well. He is understanding coverage as well, and he is deadly accurate with the ball. He's got he has great mechanics, but I want to see consistency within it. And it's looking very bright in Jacksonville's future. There's a lot of sunshine in Jacksonville. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Hit the like, subscribe, and check out my other videos, and I'll even comment if you want.